Joe is a dynamic entrepreneur and passionate about food. His dream is to own the most amazing restaurant ever. Where should it be? What should it look like? What food should he serve? Who will be his customers? Oh, too many questions. Joe is stressed. Where can he find help? Step 1. Researches the market for eating trends, design styles, spending habits. Step 2. Based on feasibility studies and market research, conceptualize the perfect business model. Step 3. Then starts brainstorming to fit in all the factors that are crucial for a successful food business. Step 4. 5 years feasibility study and market research. The perfect name for your new restaurant. A choice of the most creative, head-turning branding material. A concept profile that immediately appeals to your target customers, as well as landlords with prime locations. Menu ideas that will have your customers come back for more. Interior design direction with the hottest trends unveiled. Restaurant operating guidelines to keep the business successful. Now Joe is ready to launch his amazing new restaurant. Start your dream right. Invest in a winning concept created within your budget so that you can confidently stay a step ahead of competition. And great restaurants start with a well-developed concept.
Good day, everyone. Today we will be talking about the second topic in Grade 10 TLE CCS. But first, let us have this activity. Arrange the following steps based on how you have understood the concept of business in terms of concept development. You will be given 5 minutes to accomplish this task. If you have arranged it this way, then you got it correctly. And this is our topic today. Let us start discussing this by understanding some of the important terms in our lesson. Development. In this module, it refers collectively to the entire process of identifying a market opportunity, creating a product to appeal to the identified market, and testing, modifying, and refining the product until it becomes ready for production. Hence, product development is a process of making a new product to be sold by a business or enterprise to its customers. It involves modification of an existing product or its presentation, or formulation of an entirely new product that satisfies a newly defined customer's needs, wants, and/or a marketplace. It entirely depends on the needs and wants of the customers. However, each person has different concepts of needs and wants. Needs in business are the important things that an individual cannot live without in a society, and this include basic commodities for consumption, clothing and other personal belongings, shelter, sanitation and health, and education. Let us differentiate needs and wants. Basic needs are essential to an individual to live with dignity and pride in a community. These needs can obviously help you generate business ideas and subsequently to product development. While wants are desires, luxury, and extravagance that signify wealth and expensive way of living. Wants or desires are considered above all the basic necessities of life. Some examples of wants or desires are fashion accessories, expensive shoes and clothes, and so on. Hence, needs and wants of people are the basic indicators of the kind of business that you may engage in because it can serve as the measure of your success. Some other points that might be considered in business undertakings are the kind of people, their needs, wants, lifestyle, culture and tradition, and their social orientation. Now that we have understood some of the essential terms in our topic today, let us now study further the concept development that we arranged earlier. Concept development is a critical phase in the development of a product. In this stage, the needs of the target market are identified, and competitive products are reviewed before the product specifications are defined. The product concept is selected along with an economic analysis to come up with an outline of how a product is being developed. The first step is identifying customer needs. Using survey forms, interviews, researches, focus group discussions, and observations, an entrepreneur can easily identify customers' needs and wants. In this stage, the information that can be possibly gathered are product specifications such as performance, taste, size, color, shape, lifespan of the product, and so on. This stage is very important because it would determine the product to be produced or provided. The second step is establish target specifications. Based on customers' needs and reviews of competitive products, you can now establish target specifications of the prospective new product and/or services. A target specification is essentially a wish list. After we establish the specifications based on customers' needs and wants, another thing that we need to consider is the competitive products or services available in the market, your future competitors. Analyzing competitive products. It is imperative to analyze existing competitive products to provide important information in establishing product or service specifications. Other products may exhibit successful design attributes that should be emulated or improved upon in the new product or service. Now that we have the details from customers and competitors, we can now generate the product concepts. In generating product concepts, we technically drawing or putting into writing our ideas of the product or service that we are going to sell or to serve. In doing so, we can visualize the wholeness of it and can better see whether our ideas are feasible, doable, or possible, and if we met the target specifications that we had earlier. And generating product concept does not mean we will create only one. Along the process, we may come up with several product concepts. Since we may come up with several product concepts, the next step is selecting a product concept. Through the process of evaluation between attributes, a final concept is selected. After the final selection, additional market research can be applied to obtain feedback from certain key customers. This means that as we have our final product concept, we will run a test on it to gather the feedback from the certain key customer. Meaning to say, we are going to produce or serve few samples to our key customers for them to try or to test and give us feedback so we can proceed to the next step, which is refining product specifications. In this stage, product or services specifications are refined on the basis of input from the foregoing activities. Final specifications are the result of extensive study, expected service life, projected selling price, among others, are being considered in this stage. In short, this stage is the polishing or finalizing stage. After we polish or finalize the product or service, what do we do next? Are we going to launch our business right away? Or are we going to mass produce the product immediately? Well, of course not. The next thing that we need to do is to perform economic analysis. Throughout the process of product development, it is very important to always review and estimate the economic implications regarding development expenses, manufacturing costs, and selling price of the product or services to be offered or provided. This simply means that check your capital and buying capacity of the people where you will put your business. A great example of this is the mall. Inside the mall, there are lots of branded boutiques and high-end restaurants. And yes, there are lots of people going in and out of the mall. But the question is, are these people buying? Try going to a mall, observe and see it yourself. Now that you know not only your capacity to produce product or provide a service, but also the buying capacity of the people in the community where you will put your business, it is now time to plan the remaining development project. In this final stage of concept development, you can prepare a detailed development plan which includes list of activities, necessary resources and expenses, and development schedule with milestones for tracking progress. Then what's next after you develop a product concept? Of course, you have to find the value. Finding the value means people buy for a reason. There should be something in your product or service that would give consumers a good reason to go back and buy more. There must be something that will make you the best option for target customers. Otherwise, they have no reason to buy what you're selling. This implies further that you offer something to your customers that will make them value your product or service. And this will lead us to value proposition. Value proposition is the value you incorporate in your product. It is what gets people moving, what makes people spend for your product or service. It is a believable collection of the most persuasive reasons why people should notice you and take the action you are asking for. Now that we have our value proposition, let us have some more tips before we finally start our business. First is innovation. Innovation is the introduction of something new in your product or service. This may be a new idea, a new method, or a new device. Some of the possible innovations in providing services are application of a new and improved methods, additional featured services, and possibly freebies. What about the so-called USP or unique selling proposition? What does it mean? Unique selling proposition is the factor or consideration presented by a seller as the reason that one product or service is different from and better than that of the competition. So before you can begin to sell your product or service to your target customers, you have to sell yourself in it. And this is especially important when your product or service is similar to your competitors. Here's how to discover your USP and how to use it to increase your sales and profit. The first one is to use empathy. But before that, let us define first the word empathy and compare it to the word sympathy. Empathy involves putting yourself in other person's shoes and understanding why they may have these particular feelings. The common phrase to remember this term is "I feel you," while sympathy involves understanding from your own perspective. And the common phrase for this one is "I pity you." Now that we have clarified the meaning of the term empathy, let us now go back to the first one. Using empathy means putting yourself in the shoes of your own customers. Always focus on the needs of the target customers and forget falling in love with your own product or service. Also, essential questions such as what could make them come back and ignore competition should be asked to oneself. Most possible answers may be focused on quality, availability, convenience, cleanliness, and reliability of the product or service. The second one is to identify customers' desires. It is very important for you to understand and find out what drives or motivates your customers to buy your product or service. In order to know this, make some efforts to find out, analyze, and utilize the information that motivates the customers in their decision to purchase the product or service. The third one is to discover customers' genuine reasons for buying the product. Information is very important in decision making. A competitive entrepreneur always improves their products or services to provide satisfaction and of course retention of customers. As your business grows, you should always consider the process of asking your customers important information and questions that you can use to improve your product or service. Now that we have discussed salient topics on concept development, it is now time for you to demonstrate your learning by doing this performance output.